a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The bits. Welcome to The Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds, Charlie.
And Ribbert.
Ribbert.
The Ribbert.
Ribbert.
Steven Universe, am I right?
Yay.
Today,
We have a new chant in this episode, though.
We have a new chant. Yes, we do. Backpack,
Yeah,
cheeseburger, backpack,
Cheeseburger. That is
cheeseburger, pack.
Yeah.
I gotta say it like in New York. I gotta be like cheeseburger.
Okay.
You don't understand my superior New York accent.
I, in fact, do not understand. I understand nothing.
Charlie, by default, we have to be enemies because I'm a New Yorker and you're, like, near Boston.
Yeah. Well, I don't care about sports.
I don't care about stickball either, but for some reason, it's like the universal thing. New Yorkers and Bostonians gotta hate each other. It's okay.
I love you anyway.
I love you too, pal. Guess what? We are looking at Season 1, Episode 3, Cheeseburger Backpack. It premiered November 11th, 2013.
Whoa!
On good old 11/11, make a wish. My wish is that I was one of the cool kids who bought a cheeseburger backpack, but I never did.
I have one. Robert, I have a cheeseburger backpack, and it was signed by all 4 crystal gems.
But what do you have in your cheeseburger backpack?
Currently nothing.
You're not ready for a quest?
No, I'm not, because, it's safely put away. Well, technically it was safely put away, and then the hook I had it on just broke yesterday.
Rip. So, the official synopsis. A mission to the Lunar Sea Spire takes a treacherous turn, but Steven has packed his totally amazing cheeseburger backpack with anything they could ever need.
Anything. Absolutely anything.
Literally, at this point, can we prove that the cheeseburger backpack is not, in fact, a TARDIS?
I mean, every single piece of the cheeseburger is a pocket, so...
Which is some genius design. Whoever designed this backpack needs to make all the money possible that they made from this backpack.
The real life one, I believe it's only 3 pockets, but Steven's, I feel like it's 7 at least.
But what is actually on? So we see that. So if it's each pocket, you have the 2 buns, a pocket in each.
Yeah.
The patty, a pocket. The cheese has a pocket.
The lettuce?
I see lettuce, so I assume the lettuce also has a pocket.
You never know. Maybe there's a tomato in there too.
There is a tomato underneath the patty.
There you go.
So that is, by my count, 2 buns, patty, cheese, lettuce, tomato. That is 6 pockets on this backpack. That is a good backpack. I
estimated 7, and you know what? I almost got it.
You almost got it. To be fair, 7 is a good number, and 6 is, the hell number. The backpacks from hell.
Just get 3 cheeseburger backpacks, and give them to Satan. 666.
666, the number of the cheeseburger backpack. So the episode opens with Steven sitting at his mailbox, and guess who arrives to deliver the mail?
Postman, bring me a post. Bring me the post I love the most.
It is. He's not named in this episode yet, but that's Jamie, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he was named actually, but it's the postman. It's Jamie. This is the first time that we see him.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want a whale. Mail.
There we go. No idea if that was synced.
It's okay. I'll sync it. I synced us singing the Cookie Cat song. I can sync us singing this.
I think you're just like Robert. You're so amazing. Round of applause for Robert and their editing jobs. Yeah, Robert's good.
Ribbert is the best. I do love this little
Absolutely.
interaction between Jamie and Steven where Steven's like, "Oh, I ordered this so I could help the crystal gems," and Jamie's like, "Cool. Sign this, please."
It's both like Jamie wants to get this over with because like whatever, it's my job, but he's also like, okay, but what is this wacky sack? Like he does genuinely want to know what the fuck Steven got.
And he'll never find out because Steven runs off into the house after he sees a flash of light. Jamie's
He
like,
runs into the night.
he is the night. He is Cheeseburger Backpack Man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like the gems are back.
The
Yay!
gems are back and they're covered in feathers. This whole bit is so fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially with Pearl being like, "Why did you bring this egg? There's no room."
Egg.
And Amethyst is like, "I'll make room." And she just like pulls everything out of the fridge.
Tosses it on the floor. Broken.
On the floor.
The egg fits in the fridge
But
until she closes it.
and then we hear a
And
big
then
crack.
crack.
Yeah, so what did Steven have in his fridge? It was milk and
Maybe some other eggs, like tiny eggs. I don't know actually. I just remember the milk.
all I saw was the milk. She spilled the milk, and Steven's probably gonna cry over it.
I was gonna say we can't cry over that spilled milk right now. I'm crying over the egg being broken, actually. Because that could have made a giant omelet, actually. They could have made that for together breakfast, but wait, that's next episode.
There is a TikToker who is making pasta, but every time he makes pasta, he doubles the egg yolks he uses. The last one he just uploaded, he had 4,096 egg yolks.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and the funny joke is when you get to like day 15 or whatever, that's more eggs than there are on planet Earth.
Yeah, how about just like don't?
I think he
I-
should cap it out at like 8,000 and that's it. Like,
I think you should just like not. Yeah, in fact, that sounds correct to me. Okay, so this interaction, yes, they fought a giant bird. Wonderful. I'm sad about the egg. But Steven's like, "Well, you guys are going out again. Can I come help? Like, I'm a crystal gem." Looks like this is an interaction with him pulling up his shirt, looking down at the gem, looking back at the gems, looking, and then it just, yeah.
I just need to say that this is such a. The animation for this episode in particular is so zany. I love it so much.
It's a very early Steven Universe.
It's very early Steven Universe. It's very like. I don't want to say the word crude because it's not crude. It's good drawings, but it's very like low effort question mark in like a good way.
It's like the anatomy is not quite there yet. They haven't quite figured out how the anatomy of characters
They
works.
have not quite figured out anatomy.
I think they also haven't quite nailed down the voices for the characters yet. I don't know why, but there were a few points where I was just like, Pearl doesn't sound quite like Pearl in this line.
No. They got to build themselves into the characters they will become, which is, it's a weird thing to think about the people we will become.
It is. It's only episode 3, so like...
It's only episode 3. Season 1 has 50-something episodes. We're going to be here forever.
We really are. It's going to take at least a year to get through season 1, bro.
Through season 1. What will happen first? Of the Eldest Gods getting past the Percy Jackson series, or us getting past season 1 of Steven Universe?
It's going to be of the Eldest Gods. Absolutely.
Can't wait to. So if the math is mathing, we should be doing this podcast for about 4 years. I can't wait to turn 30 talking about Steven Universe.
Is that a problem? Do you have a problem?
I have had many an argument with myself about when it is time to grow up and what that means. And it's like, do I really want to be in my 30s talking about Percy Jackson and Steven Universe and Heartstopper?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Robert, we just watched Peter Pan and Wendy together the other night,
We
and I'm just
just
like,
watched
you,
Peter Pan and Wendy the other night. We did.
you
I
know, we need a balance between growing up and like, just like being a kid. You can't just fully grow up because then you've lost the magic.
then you become a gay pirate with a hook.
I mean, then you become like a self-hating homophobic gay pirate.
With a hook. The hook is a metaphor for internalized homophobia.
God, we're talking about Steven Universe, not Peter Pan and Wendy.
They're tangentially related in some way, shape, or form. I'm pretty
They
sure
are.
Cartoon Network has done something with Peter Pan. Disney does not own the rights to Peter Pan.
You're
It's an
correct.
open, not open source. It's a public domain.
We're as we go through the show, we're gonna analyze how Steven grows up, right? And doesn't fully let go of his like childish wonder. But also, kind of has to grow up because he's a protagonist. Anyway, he's a crystal gem. This is him being like, "Hey, let me on a fucking mission, please."
Yeah, and Pearl's like, no, you're not ready. And Garnet's indifferent. And Amethyst is like, well, he'll only get ready if we take him on missions. It's weird for Amethyst to be the voice of reason.
You're right. It absolutely is weird.
Mm-hmm.
But also,
Weird.
do you remember the thing about this episode from like later on in the series? That because remember, we're a spoilers podcast.
I don't.
It's gonna be in the trivia anyway.
It's gonna be in the trivia. Oh, probably here. Let me look ahead and quote unquote spoil myself because I definitely forgot.
Yeah, it's literally on like the trivia page. I was like, huh, that's relevant. It's in like the
Oh
continuity.
yeah, this comes back in the test. I forgot about that.
Yeah, this
There we go.
literally is a test, actually.
We are testing Steven.
Like recontextualizing
No,
this episode.
recontextualizing.
Yeah, recontextualizing. There you go. Like thinking about this episode, like as we know what it actually was, like to the crystal gems, this was a test for Steven to see if he could actually go on missions.
And lo and behold, our boy Steven proved that
He failed the test.
He failed. Yeah, unfortunately. But before that, so Pearl, the reason they fought this giant bird was to get a statue of a moon goddess.
I want to know more about this giant bird, though.
I want to know more about this moon goddess. I don't think this really comes back.
Or like the weird lunar spire. Do we have anything on the Steven Universe wiki that explains the moon spire? Because lunar sea spire, whatever the fuck it is, like so later on in the test they do basically say, yeah, like it's fine, like it's okay that you like destroyed it, it was not that big of a deal, that's why we used it for a test. So I don't know.
So yeah, the argument happens. Eventually Pearl laments and she's like, whatever, let's have Steven join us. Steven packs everything he could possibly pack into the fucking cheeseburger backpack.
Yeah, literally half of his bedroom is in there. I mean, he packed fairly well, actually. I don't know. He didn't need Mr. Queasy, though.
He did not need Mr. Queasy, except he kind of did, unintentionally.
It didn't actually help, though.
What he thought it would, and that's what counts. No, it doesn't. He fucking failed.
He failed. F.
He's God. No, I believe this is the first time Steven uses the warp pad.
Yeah.
Or at least the first time we see it, because
it's the first time we see him warp, yeah.
Yeah, because Pearl or Amethyst, one of the two, have a line of like, do you remember how to use the warp pad?
And then Steven is like kind of just like floating, like, woo, it's okay. And his head flies out of it. You know what? That's also going to come back later. Steven's head flying out of the warp.
That's called foreshadowing.
It is, in fact. Okay, I did look up the Lunar Sea Spire. Okay, this weird trivia, I don't know when this is said. Either it does come back in the video game too, so it could be either in the show or the game that Bismuth said that the spires are for the intellectuals of Gem Society to think in.
Right. Doesn't she say in this episode that like gems used to hang out a lot in this place and several hundred years ago, which is indicative of how long they've been here, but also
Mm-hmm.
the gems, like homeworld gems, were last on Earth like several thousand years ago. Wasn't the gem war like a lot longer than that?
So in the episode, they said it wasn't like this 100 years ago. So like these gems were there 100 years ago, right? But not other gems, at
The way
least.
that Pearl projects like her memory through her gem has little silhouettes of other gems. So I'm wondering if this is a retcon or if it's Pearl lying to Steven.
Yeah. Or she could be lying.
Anyway,
Who
they use
knows?
the warp pad, they go to the spire. They can't jump to the spire from the cliff they're on because there's a magical sucky vortex that'll suck them to their doom.
And then what does Steven do? He uses the powers of Cheeseburger Backpack to be like, hey, I have these sweaters. I guess I could use those to like whip myself over. And it does work.
Homie just Indiana Joneses himself over to the other side.
And then Amethyst does the
Also,
same
Indiana
thing.
Joneses herself, except actually with a whip.
Yeah, Amethyst is the Indiana Jones here, actually.
Pearl freaks out. She's like, don't ever do that again. But it did work. So I'm like, okay, that's a little bit of progression, character progression.
Yeah, I think the problem is that like he just like went for it. He just ran in there.
He didn't know it was gonna work.
He did not.
I,
He
I,
could
I
have died.
was Steven like in Boy Scouts or something? He's very good at tying
He
knots.
definitely was not.
So who taught him to tie knots?
Maybe his dad took him fishing. I don't know. I have no answer for you. I got very good at tying knots as a small child too, for no apparent reason, just because I like to fiddle with things.
The next obstacle we face is a room with crystal shrimps.
Okay, they're shrimps? Like I heard them say that, but I'm like so confused at why they called them that. I would have just said they're worms.
They're
But
worms. Technically, what is a worm if not a land shrimp? And what is a shrimp if not a water worm? Even though a lot of worms
a
are like
water
also
worm,
aquatic.
a sea worm.
Pearl is like
Oh my god.
trying to plan out this intricate Mission Impossible style, like
Really?
Amethyst, go to that corner and distract him with your twirly move, while Garnet goes over here and I go over here, and Steven just throws like bagels into the mist, and they're like, "Ooh, bagels!" and they just go for the bagels.
Yep, he just screams bagel sandwich,
Oh, the
throws two of
sandwich. I thought
them.
they were just bagels. Okay.
No, is bagel sandwiches. He throws them and then they clear a path, basically.
What is the best bagel sandwich?
I mean, I love me a good breakfast sandwich with like cheese, egg, and sausage. So,
Oh, Charlie, you were so close to perfection. It's a bacon, egg, and cheese.
see, I like sausage more than bacon. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
different. You and I like different things, and that's okay. We're
We
still friends, even
do.
though you're
You
wrong.
like
But
vegetables? I don't.
I swear to God, I'm gonna drive to your house and force feed you vegetables.
No.
I'm gonna hide them in your chicken nuggets and French fries.
I was just talking to teachers about that today. And I'm like, why didn't my parents try that when on me as a small child? That would have done the trick.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I have Hispanic parents, so it was either eat my vegetables or I can't leave the table.
Yeah, I would have sooner starved.
Yeah, no, I tried to. And they're like, no, you can't leave. And I would stay at the dinner table for like 3 hours after dinner ended. And they'd be like, eat your fucking vegetables. Come on, please.
No, just sleep at the table.
Nope,
Literally
I
just fall asleep there.
had to eat the vegetables.
Okay, so now we're on the cheeseburger backpack train. We love cheeseburger backpack.
Cheeseburger backpack.
Amethyst, yeah, Amethyst starts the chant. The new chant, cheeseburger backpack, gets
Cheeseburger
Pearl
backpack.
to get into it. Arnett is just standing there. We know she's saying it on the inside.
Okay, but who we know Ruby's chanting under the inside.
Sapphire?
Sapphire's trying to be like posed and like staying on topic, staying on task.
I feel like early Sapphire wouldn't say that. Maybe later on Sapphire might join in on the chant.
Cheeseburger Backpack. So we now come to our next obstacle, which is a river, right? It's like a river. It's like a ravine
It's
with
like
water
a
flow.
yeah, I was gonna say like a ravine, like a very like I can't think of words. Very strong current. That's it.
Hmm. I'm just reminded of the bit from Emperor's New Groove. Uh-oh. Wait, let me guess. We're about to go over a big waterfall. Yep. Big sharp rocks at the bottom? Most likely. Bring it on. Booyah!
Yeah, I remember that because it was in like every single trailer for that movie.
What does Steven bring out to attempt to cross the river?
Listen, he packed good. He did it. What did he bring on this quest? He brought sweaters in case they were cold. He brought food in case, like, you know, they were there for a long time and got hungry. And he brought a raft.
Honestly, the raft is the part that surprised me the most. I'm like, God damn, how much storage? Even a compact little raft still takes up a good chunk of space. How much space does this fucking backpack have? It is legitimately a TARDIS.
It has enough space for everything in his room except for the statue.
We're not there yet. So they throw the raft into the water. Yay, we have a raft. Maybe we
And
should have gotten on that
yeah.
raft. R.I.P.
Yeah, the
raft.
current is too fucking strong. It just like did not work. It's like puts it in the water, immediately gone. It's over the waterfall. Don't worry about it.
The alternative now is Garnet just fucking karate chops a pillar.
Like you can't win them all. It's okay.
They then, they pass the bridge and they make
Mhm.
it to the top, and it's a beautiful night sky. And they have just like only a few minutes till midnight because they have to place the statue on the spire at midnight. And what did Steven leave behind?
The statue. Okay, does Steven canonically have ADHD at this point? I think he does.
I think Steven might have undiagnosed ADHD.
Well, that's because he's never been to a
A
freaking
doctor.
doctor in his entire fucking life.
I mean, he doesn't need a doctor. He's immune to all disease, apparently.
You know what? I don't think. Do we ever see this boy have a cold?
I don't think so. It's sort of like it's sort of that generalized immunity that like Harley Quinn also has. Like Poison Ivy gave her immunity to all poisons, and
What?
that's just yeah, that's a thing that Harley's immune to all poisons because of Poison Ivy.
I love it.
This was like before they got together, but also still very much a little
but
bit of gay
also
undertone.
I need a girlfriend who will do that for me because I work with children.
Make you immune, not immune to illness, immune to poisons.
No, immune to like the common colds. Please.
So because Steven left the statue back home, and we're so close to midnight, if we don't put something on the spire, everything's gonna go to hell.
What if one of them just sat on it instead?
Honestly, this whole episode feels like a giant Indiana Jones reference because
It
they have to
is.
put something of equal weight or equal value, whatever, onto the pedestal at the right time.
Mr. Queasy is not of equal value.
Mr. Queasy, unfortunately, does not count. And the Lunar Sea Spire, like the light goes from Mr. Queasy directly to the moon, and everything looks fine. And
Like,
then
oh, okay, it's gonna work. Then, pew,
the doll explodes, the Sea Spire explodes, everything fucking explodes. The gems fall into the water.
Yep. Everything is dead except I guess the gems are alive and Steven.
R.I.P. the crystal shrimps.
No! We are the crystal shrimps.
They just wanted to eat bagel, and then they exploded.
I'm so sad about that, actually.
Same.
Rip.
R.I.P. them boys.
Well, you know what? We were like, hey, Steven got like 50% on this quest. But actually, he got more than that because the raft comes back.
I love the raft. He's
And
back,
they can
boys.
use that to get home. It's gonna take a while, but still. What is that percentage now? He's got like a 60? He's got a passing grade.
All right, no, Charlie. Okay, so there were four tasks that Steven tried to solve with the Cheeseburger Backpack. He technically solved 3 of them, so that is a what percent?
Oh, I was just counting that as like a 5th task and
What do you mean?
saying,
No, it's just the 4th task, but or the 3rd task, but like done correctly.
okay, okay, okay,
That's what
that's
I
fine.
think it is. So I think our boy Steven got a 75, a good old C. C's get degrees.
He got an average score. You know what? That's fine. He did it. He's got the degree. But he still failed the test.
He still failed the test. By the way, Garnet is like, hey, it's a 3-hour paddle to get home. And the episode ends with Steven being like, anyone want a wet bagel?
A wet bagel. That's don't like it.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, my friends, it is time for our Crystal Temple trivia.
Bum, bum,
Bum bum
bum.
bum. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, this is the first episode where our mating setting is not Beach City, because
Mhm.
it's mostly at the Lunar Sea Spire. Very cool. Okay, I read this after I watched the episode, so I did not catch what happened here. But this episode is the first and only time Garnet asks a question. So, you know the thing where she's not supposed to ever ask questions? Yeah, we broke canon.
Well, it's canon only when you take into account the future episode, The Answer.
Yeah, okay. I wish I had time to rewatch the episode just to see what the heck the question was, to see if it could have been like an actual question or what have you, but now I'm curious. If anyone listening caught it and could tell us what it was, what happened.
The funny thing is that also in the official Steven Universe podcast, which we're unfortunately not, Rebecca stated that this instance of Garnet asking a question is not canon. Whether or not that means the episode is an entirety is not canon.
I think that's just okay. The episode itself is canon. I think it's just it's the question, whatever. Just leave the question out.
I did catch at the Lunar Sea Spire when Steven says, "You got it, dude." That
Yeah.
was a reference to Full House. I caught that. I'm like,
I
son of a
always
bitch, he
catch
actually did
that.
that.
Every
Yeah.
time I'm just like, "Ah! That's so good."
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Ooh, Steven plays Nintendo. We love it.
Steven has a Nintendo 64.
Yes, he does.
The jury summons at the beginning of the episode is for RJ Finkel, which could be a reference to Ray Finkel. Hey, Charlie, who's Ray Finkel?
Why do you think I know things?
I misread that completely. I thought that said Ace Attorney, not Ace Ventura.
Yeah, you did think it said Ace Attorney. That says Ace Ventura Pet Detective.
Oh God, I am tired. I'm tired and very dyslexic. So Ray Finkel is the fictional former Miami Dolphins kicker and the main antagonist of the film Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
I feel like I've heard of this, but also I've never seen it. So
All I know is Ace Ventura is the one with Jim Carrey being crazy.
okay, I think that's a lot of things actually.
That's also like The Mask and Sonic 1 and 2 and Liar Liar.
The
There's a lot
Grinch.
of The Grinch. Fucking love The Grinch.
Okay, Mr. Queasy. I did not realize that Mr. Queasy was basically a Tickle Me Elmo reference, and that makes me so mad because I like do not like Mr. Queasy, but Elmo. As a child, I was like, Elmo's my boyfriend. When I was like 3, so canonically, my first ever boyfriend.
And then lastly, Hey Mr. Postman, Steven's little song at the beginning could be considered a reference to Please Mr. Postman, a song by the Marvelettes and the Beatles.
I mean, hey, why not?
I know the Beatles version. I'm not quite familiar with the Marvelettes, but now is my chance to listen to them.
Yeah, you gotta listen to the things. Okay, so yeah, we already talked about this didn't look like it 100 years ago, implying that the crystal gems were very old. But later we learned that they're actually thousands of years old. This is the first time we're like, oh, they're not like normal human age. Yeah. And we already also talked about the fact that this was a test.
It's a
That Steven
test.
failed.
The Moon Goddess statue is later found in Steven's wardrobe in the test, and so Steven just places it on the shelf above his bed. And it's pretty much seen from like that episode until what, Beyond Steven Universe, the movie?
Yeah, I mean, you could just be like, hey, this is a reminder that, like, failure is okay. If every pork chop were perfect.
We wouldn't have hot dogs.
There you go. Yeah. Good shit. Okay, Robert.
Yes,
Who
Charbian.
or what are you giving pearl points to this episode?
I'm giving
decided?
pearl points to the Crystal Shrimps. All they wanted to do was eat bagel and vibe, and they exploded. R.I.P.
I think I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think the Crystal Shrimps and also their bagel sandwiches deserve all the pearl points. I hope they made it out of there alive.
I hope they at least got to enjoy the bagel before they disintegrated. Just instant. It's like if a nuke went off instantaneously.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. It's like how the historians found those two skeletons in Pompeii looking like they were giving each. I shouldn't say this, but actually, nope.
Oh, we're not going to earn our explicit rating?
We're not going to earn our explicit rating. Are we explicit?
Yeah.
Just because we say fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you.
I want to know what they were doing. Tell me about these skeletons.
Oh, so they were allegedly doing the do. And I believe they're categorized as two, quote unquote, male skeletons. So people are like, yes, the gays getting one last fucking before dying to volcanic ash.
I thought you were going to say, like, the gays getting what they deserved by dying in fire.
The gays have had it too good for too long.
This was their punishment for being gay.
The literal volcano just erupted.
Pompeii erupted because of the gays, actually.
Is Pompeii not the name of the city? What's the name of the volcano?
Vesuvius, sorry.
Yes, Vesuvius. There we go.
Yeah. All right. Robert, I've been trying to think of a question. Okay, what is the question of the episode? It's if you had a novelty backpack, like a wacky sack, what would yours be? Like is it a food? Is it something else?
Tell me why the first thing that came to my mind was Pickle Rick. A fucking Pickle Rick backpack. I turned myself into a backpack, Morty! A Pickle Rick backpack! I'm
just gonna ignore everything you just said.
No, honestly, I would. If I had a novelty backpack, it would be a TARDIS.
Good. I mean, wacky sacks canonically are just TARDISes, so like infinite amount of space. It works.
But Charlie, I turned myself into a backpack, Charlie. I'm Pickle Rick backpack.
I hate you.
Love you
and everything
too.
You stand for. I was gonna come up with an answer, and then you just like came up with Pickle Rick, and now I'm like,
Pickle Rick.
What if it was just an egg?
Just a fucking egg. How does it open like you open it like in the middle in like a crack pattern?
Yeah.
And it just opens up and it's like a giant fucking like hollow spear.
Yeah. That's exactly how it works. It's just a fucking egg.
It's just an egg. You took the big egg from the fridge and you fashioned it into a backpack.
You know what? That's why I was thinking about eggs. I'm gonna move my pearl points to actually giving it to the egg. My pearl points belong with the egg because you gave it to the shrimps.
Egg.
And with that, bro. If every podcast were perfect, we wouldn't have the bits.
See you, kids. Bye-bye.
You can follow this podcast socials at The Bits SU Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our Diamond line through thebitsSUpod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, and I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Robert, at the Damn Meme page on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Damn is spelled D-A-M. If you want to hear more from me, check out one of my many podcasts. I have a Once Upon a Time podcast called Entering Storybrooke, a Kim Possible podcast called That's a Sitch, and an Oseman Verse podcast called the Truum Grammar Book Club.
The Bits is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast that follows the true hero of the Avatar The Last Airbender series, the Cabbage Cart Guy.
Coffee, tea, honor, cabbage. Long ago, the four elements lived in harmony. Then, shit went totally cray when the Avatar attacked. Only the Cabbage Man, merchant of fine cruciferous vegetables, could stand against his trolling. But when the world needed some dank veg, he vanished. 10 years have passed, and my partner and I have started a new podcast.
My Cabbages! An Avatar podcast.
A weekly show about Avatar The Last Airbender. Whether it's Sokka's new line of cologne.
Hey, look at you, sitting there on a seal. Well, now look back at me. I'm on an even bigger seal. Now look away.
D&D related antics.
You have to make an acrobatics check for that, and Aang just unzips his pants and whips out his D20s. He's just I got this.
Or randomly breaking into song.
Go bending waterfall.
We'll stumble our way through the greatest show ever made, one episode at a time.
You can reach us at CabbageCast, which is our Twitter, or
subscribe wherever you catch pod.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
I completely forgot how we do this podcast.
We do a podcast?
We do a podcast. Hey, Charlie, how are you?
I'm good. Oh, we're recording. Okay.
We are recording. Everyone loves a cold open. You cannot convince me otherwise. Except you can.
Okay. I mean, if you say so. I don't know.
Charlie, what do you know?
I know nothing. Robert Gamer.
Damn, Charlie, last name redacted because you haven't shared it to the world.
Haha.
I can't believe you're bullying me as usual.
Always. It's my job.
Maybe it shouldn't be your job. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Robert.
What episode are... By the way, hey, welcome to The Bits. That's the name of the podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say we in fact have an opening to this podcast. I was waiting for it.
Let's do the opening.
Deus Ex Media.